Hi, hello, how are you? My name's Randy and we'll be doing a very short, quick and easy crochet project you can do. It's beginner friendly. This is the yarn I'm going to use. So this is Loops and Thread Sweet Snuggles. This was on clearance at my local Michael's and I thought this was so pretty. It's like pink lemonade. And I already wanted to do this and I thought this was perfect for that. You definitely will not need this much yarn, but that's how much we have. So you'll need yarn. This is a bulky, maybe bigger yarn. Then you'll need a size 8mm hook, yarn needle, because it does require a little bit of sewing, scissors, and a little bit of stuffing. So let's get started. I have my yarn on my hook here. I have a little bit of a tail because I will need it. And we're just going to do our starting chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you can do it larger if you like, but I'm gonna start with 7. Then we're just going to do a half double crochet, not into this loop right here, but right here. And we're gonna go all the way down, just like that, with our half double crochet. Make sure we get every loop. All the way down to the end. Don't pull too tight or your yarn will curl. We're going to go all the way down to the end. Loop through. It's fighting me a little bit because this needle or hook is a little small for this type of yarn, but I want my yarn to be tight. So once again, we're going to skip this one and go into this one, because we are making a triangle. Don't want to pull too tight. We're going to go all the way down. Nice and easy here. Release some yarn. I am just doing the half double because I'll be honest, I like the half double crochet. It makes a taller one, makes it go a little quicker. So we're going to go all the way to the end so we have nice smooth edges. Then we're going to flip, go, skip this one and go this way, because we're getting less and less and it's going to be more subtle this way. Go all the way down, and then this time, there we go, it's not as drastic, but you can see we have less I'm blinking for a second. We have less stitches to go into, so skip this one and go all the way down again. Then skip it again, turn it around, skip it again. We only have 2 now. And my yarn wants to do too much. There we go. And now we're at the end here. So we're gonna turn it around. And we have our triangle bow shape. Now we just have to do that 4 more times because we're making them puffy. Now, if you like the look of this and don't want to stuff it, you can do it 1 more time, skip the other 2 and skip a couple steps, but I am going to be stitching them together and putting a little bit of stuffing in these to make them nice and puffy. So, gotta do this 3 more times. I forgot to mention, make sure you leave a decent sized tail here on both ends so you have room to sew with. So there's that. I have all 4 pieces done here now. Now we just have to take our yarn needle, sew them together. So I'm going to leave these, and I'm going to use these, and I'm just going to get my yarn through my needle here. This is a trick, I don't remember where I learned it. It was probably Instagram, and you just shove, if it wants to cooperate, shove your yarn through the opening like that, and it works every time as I throw fluff all over the place. Now, we are going to do the opposite here, because this is the side I want on the outside, so the side I want on the inside. I'm going to just go through the top loops, pull it through, make sure you can see this. I know it's hard on fluffy yarn. The top loops, pull it through, top loops, pull it through, all the way down. Now I'm not going to seal it all the way up because I am going to put some stuffing in it here. Go through the top loops only. Like I said, kind of a pain in the butt with fluffy yarn. But top loops, all the way down, and then I'm going to use this one and go quite a ways around, but leave enough room to stuff it. This is why it's always a good idea to do the stitching around the inside for times like this, especially with fluffy yarn. When it frays, you can tie it off and it will go on the inside of the project. Now I left myself a very small hole, and I'm going to put some stuffing in it. So let's prop you up. And now, because of this yarn in general, you really don't need a lot, which is really nice because stuffing can be pretty expensive, but we just want to evenly fill it out here. You can also use scrap yarn if you have like little scrap yarn pieces. You can definitely use that. And I'll have to like lint roll this to get, well, I guess this is going on the inside, so it's okay. But we will fill this up where it's nice and puffy and fluffy and squishy. And now I'm going to, wait. Now this is why I like to crochet, or I should say sew my crochet like inside out, because of stuff like this, especially with fluffy yarn. It frays, so I can tie it off and then I can flip it around. I did a little too much of my stitching. I can flip it around though. Get off all the extra fuzzies, and then the unsightly loose thing will go on the inside. Now I'm going to take a little bit of stuffing, shove it in here. You can also use scrap yarn if you'd like. I just have quite a bit of stuffing still that I'm trying to work my way through. So this is just like the polyfill that you can get everywhere. As you can see, it's nice and thick now. And I'm going to add a little bit more, and then I'll have to stitch it shut. But make sure it's nice and even, nice and squishy, and then we'll stitch it shut. I have finished stitching it up, and I still have this little bit sticking out. I have my other two still sticking out. I'm just going to take my yarn needle and force that in there. This side is done for right now. Now I'm just going to duplicate it on this side. Since both pieces are done, we're going to have to use these to stitch them together. Now, this is where you can kind of adjust, where if you want kind of like your bow to look like it's drooping a little bit, you can do that. Or if you want it kind of perked up, I'm just going to do mine classic, and I'm also going to overlap them slightly so it'll be a little bit nice and tight. So basically I'm going to take my yarn needle and the strands that are attached to this, weave it through here, and then through right where I want them to attach, weave them around a couple times, then switch them. I've got my yarn on my needle. Gonna weave through all the way there, and then then just gonna weave through here and pull it tight because we want this to kind of sit flat on here. And then we're gonna kind of do the same. So we're gonna switch sides. I'm gonna go through a different point. I'm gonna pull it all the way through here. And then I'm gonna pull through here. And I'm gonna do that a few times so I kind of have a nice tight, where it's like not too loose and floppy. And I'm gonna have a very structured, and then we'll do our final couple steps. It is now attached. Now I have to make the piece that kind of ties it together. And mine is going to have like, what has the string hanging down, which shouldn't be too difficult here. We're gonna take the same yarn, and for me, when I do a, like, what is this called? The loop or whatever, I just wrap it around 2 fingers with a little bit of a tail here. Then I take the bottom yarn, pull it through. Ta-da! That was probably the hardest thing I had to work on when I started doing this. So I'm going to do my starting chain. I'm going to see how long I need, and I'll jump back in and let you know how long of a starting chain we need. I did 30 for my starting chain here because it needs to be long enough to wrap around the center as well as drape down some. Also, I'm going to tie it off, so it needs to be long enough to do all that. That looks about the right length. You obviously can adjust it to what you need. If you only want to do where it's tied off here, you'll need a lot less. So just keep that in mind. We love crochet for that reason, because you can just do it whatever way makes you happy. So we're gonna do a half double again. Gonna go not into this one right here next to the hook, but the next one over. And we're gonna go all the way down to the end with our half double stitches. And I think we'll do 2 rows because that should be nice and thick to cover the center piece here. After doing the first row, or whatever you want to call it, it's actually big enough, I think. So as you can see, I have not tied anything in yet, and I'll explain why here in a second. We're sharing scissors. But this is kind of what's gonna happen, is I'm actually gonna use these ones that are still attached to the physical bow to secure these ones down here. But I'm not gonna do that yet, and I'm not gonna tie these in yet, because one, if you want to attach yours to a hair tie, whichever side you decide to be the back, which I did, pull these through on the back. You can attach your hair tie this way where it's on there, and then we'll secure it in, or you can do like me, where I will probably put this on a command strip, which will work just fine with the crochet back here, or you can use like a alligator clip through the back. So we don't want to stitch this back piece. We're gonna stitch it once we have it even. We're going to stitch down here so it's secure and in there, but it's not where we can't either do a command strip or add an alligator clip, however you want to use it. I dropped my yarn needle. So I have it kind of set how I want it to. I'm gonna flip it backwards here. With this, you want to go kind of towards the end, unless you somehow have discovered how not to fray your fluffy yarn. It is such a struggle for me, and I'm just going to weave in through the physical bow here as well, all the way to the front. And I'm going to make sure it's nice and tight too, so we kind of don't lose our placement. And like I said, you want to make sure you still have that place here for an alligator clip. And now that it's to the front, I'm going to just stitch these two pieces. The front, basically the front and the back. I'm just gonna run it all the way back and forth through these, which I've been trying to think. There's a lot of things that this yarn is reminding me of here. And I realized, oops, they're a little lopsided, but that's okay. It's reminding me of a lot of things, but I realized they kind of look like those little marshmallows. And then after I've run it through that side, I am just going to weave it into my crochet here. So it's out of sight, out of mind. Gonna do that. Oops, don't pull all the way out. Then I'm sure there's better ways than doing this, but this is how I do it. It always comes back to haunt me later. So if you have a better idea or a better way to do it, definitely do that. I'm paying too much attention to other things. Let me fix it. And because I pulled my extra yarn tail through here, it kind of flattened this side out. So this time when I go to weave this one in, I'm gonna pull it through this side to even them out, if that makes sense. If not, just ignore what I just said. There you have it, a puffy bow. Now this one ended up longer than this one. I guess I did not do my measurements very well there, but it's kind of cute because it's curled under. So I'm going to put mine on the wall. I'm eventually hoping to have like a little like crochet wall of just things I've crocheted, but you can, like I said, put an alligator clip or put a hair tie, whatever you please for it. I ended up, when I was weaving my yarn in, tried to like put a slash so you could kind of see a little bit of a difference. But yeah, there it is. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe and or like the video. If you personally have either made bows in the past or are going to make this bow, let me know if you put it on your wall. Did you use it as a hair bow? Did you put it on did you give it to a friend? Did you put it on a stuffed animal, a doll, a pillow in your house? Whatever you did, let me know down below. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!